and welcome back to another episode of the game today with Claret and Malcolm. Me is Claret, I am Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
And it's been a long time. I gotta say, I missed you all. We have a lot of, but we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And
I mean, a lot has
um,
happened.
a lot has happened since
absent,
we.
for sure.
Yeah, there were some complications, some inconveniences,
Yeah.
some. Yeah, but the main thing is that we're here and we're back. Claret, how do you feel? It's been a long time.
I am doing great. Not so much for the past couple days, but for the most now I'm good and ready to get the content going.
We'll pull through.
So yeah.
We'll pull through. So guys, there was NBA, there was WNBA, there's a lot of topics to talk about. But before we continue, if you're watching this, please like, subscribe, comment, share, to support us as well and give us some feedback. Like, follow, whatever. I know it's not for subscribe here on YouTube, but do anything that's media-wise, to promote us, and really appreciate it. So we shall get right into it. So there was, as I said, there was NBA action, there was WNBA action. Obviously, the NBA action, I mean, the whole Caitlin Clark being snapped from the women's Olympic USA team. We'll talk about that because there was a lot going on in media. People, some analysts for and others against the topic. So we'll dive into that. Hear some of his opinions. Hear some of mine. That's what I mean by WNBA. And then NBA, obviously, NBA playoffs looks like they're coming to an end because it's now mid-June. Usually it goes till late June, but it's already 13th June and it looks like we're done with basketball until October. But we'll dive into that.
I mean, technically we have the Olympics coming up.
NBA is done for.
So, we're going to have some.
We have the Olympics. But Olympics is a couple of 4 weeks from now. Still far away, but we'll be fine. We'll bring you more after. So it's not our last time today, although we'll talk about how it may be the last time. But yeah. And the Boston Celtics are leading 3-0 to the Dallas Mavericks in the best of 7 series. And let's first recap a quick because obviously we're going to dive into what happened yesterday with Game 3. But we want to first give a quick recap on Game 1 and Game 2. And I'm going to today. I have a lot to say, but I'll let you go first today. Get your initial thoughts. But I want to put out a line that I had from Malika Andrews, the very beautiful Malika Andrews, after Game 1, because everyone was like. Everyone was yapping how Kristaps Porzingis will not be healthy, and that's why Mavericks will win this series and win Game 1. Well, and they were like, and then Stephen A was like, if he's not 100% or 80% healthy, the Dallas is winning a series. And when you saw the Game 1 performance from Kristaps Porzingis, that did look like 100% to me. That looked like 110%. I don't know.
No, 120, bro. 120, bro.
Whichever percentage is greater than 100, that was what KP looked like in Game 1. So. What do you think about Game 1? Because you are the one who was talking about, you yourself, you're saying how Kristaps is not going to be injured and Mavericks have Kyrie Irving and Luka and blah, blah, blah. Thinking that Celtics is some banter club like Warriors. So let us know what you thought about Game 1 and Game 2 actually. Let's give a full recap of the first 2 games. Obviously, KP and JB were the firepower in the Game 1. Game 2, not really. Celtics didn't really get into an offensive rhythm, but they just showed like maturity and how they experienced big players.
I mean, every time you have Derek White and Drew Holiday, they just come at the right time. They just come at the right time. It doesn't matter whether you're struggling from 3 or 2. They just slide in slowly.
Every NBA Finals win, obviously on the assumption that Celtics is going to win this NBA Finals. I mean, realistically, they're not going to, throw down a 3-0 lead. But every team that wins the NBA has those 2 players that are role players that, obviously, they're these 2 overhyped, glorified players. Like last year, they had Jamal and Jokic. Before you had Stephen Clay or Stephen Dre. Before you can talk it, Giannis and Drew Holiday back in 2021. But there are always these 2 guys who are coming up big, who make plays that are not on the box score, those non-box score players that This year now it's Drew Holiday and Derek White, because obviously the glorified players are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the $300 million plus contract players. But Derek White and Drew Holiday, oh my God, they came up big. And even last year, you were seeing Michael Porter and Aaron Gordon, there are always these players, leave alone the bench, because obviously we talk about the bench a lot, but there's role players in the team. And it just feels like this season, Celtics with Drew Holiday and Derek White, man, coming up big time. Let's talk about that game one. Was it game one? Yeah, game one. What do you think of game one? What do you think of game one?
I mean, actually, I was watching the game, and right away they playing, they are feeling their legs first 2 minutes. And all of a sudden KP goes into that elbow and they throw the ball to him, and I'm like, please now. He just gonna shoot over people now. And he shoots it, and he gets 101. I'm like, all right, first game, they won't figure that out. And he came back, the same sport, did the same thing. I was like, wait a minute now. Came back, the third one, did the same thing. This time and then one. I'm like, 3 buckets, not to be worried about. And then he came back in transition. He got like a 30-footer, like Steph Curry type of thing, pulled up, jumped. I'm like, this man, and he caught a timeout, right? And then he kept going. He probably missed like one shot or two, right? And I was like, holy Jesus. Well, to me, it doesn't look like somebody who has been injured, but rather somebody the Celtics have been keeping to just come and destroy the Mavs, because this is not real.
I mean, he didn't play for 8 days. He didn't play for the...
I remember I posted on my IG story, and I was like, KP is killing these people. And like a storm of messages, they were like, nope, this KP is not what we expected. Like many people were like, bro, this is not happening. But game one, people came, we knew that somebody coming up with an injury, doesn't matter who it is. There is always that transitional moment where people get to, get the legs going and the feel, the rhythm. But KP just did it as if it was another day, another day in a bar, another day in bed and slept. And I was like, well, there's something different about it. Like it just, killed. He didn't come to play. He was killing, right? He didn't want to care. He wanted to give it to me every time. So I thought that he was the X factor. Of course, Brown did his thing, and I know we're all going to say what happened to those people because they're the ones who shined the most, they're the ones who shot well, they're the ones who... But I'm going to talk about something the broadcaster, I think it's Mike Brain or JJ Redick, one of the two said it, I don't remember, but he said that the patience of Jason Tatum was the most remarkable thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? Because he didn't be like, no, give me the ball. No. He would go to the corner, he would shoot the open jumper. Yeah, although he doesn't get that much. He would go to cuts, rebounds. He had about 9 rebounds, I think 8 assists, and a couple, points. And that's the maturity that you need as your players to have when they are your star players, right? That's the maturity you need, because when it's not going for them, right, what do? Do they sit and watch, or they impact the game in different ways? So I thought, yes, KP and JB, they did their thing, but the maturity of Jason Tatum, his ability to just be patient and let his team go on a run, and then he will come and cook later, is what stood out to me.
Well said. I gotta say, let me use some stats to back. The Celtics, their whole starting 5 had double digits, including KP, obviously, with 20 points, and Sam also with 8 points. Jason Tatum didn't have it going in game 1. He had only 16 points, but he, was rebounding. Game 1 and 2 especially, was not really being that number 1 scorer, but he was being that guy to facilitate the team and help the team.
Yeah.
So he had 16-11. Jaylen Brown was actually the one who got it going, 22 points. Al Horford 10 points. Drew Holiday 12 points. Derek White 15 and KP 20. And I know that people are glorifying KP, but Celtics is just so good. Celtics are 30-5 without KP. 30-5. That's a 86% winning record without him. And now with him, you saw what the Joe Mazzulla was running with KP in game 1. He was on the bench fine, but when he was playing, he spaces out the floor, so he drags Daniel Gafford with him. So he has to come out, and when he comes out, there's no real protector, and so it leaves the small tall guys that Derek White and Drew Holiday to roam around the paint, because he's out guarding KP. Because if he does not, KP is going to hit 30 footers. The man can hit from anywhere, man. The guy. So they used that. They exploited that, and Derek Lively didn't do anything. Maxi Kleber, nothing. And now we look at the Mavericks side. They're awful. I look at the scoreboard. There's sometimes you can look at the scoreboard and you're like, how did this team win? Obviously, because it can come down to the clutch time and final plays, and you're like, okay, they won by a lot. But you look at this scoreboard, you're like, there's no way Celtics didn't win this game, even without looking at who won the final score. You're looking at the turnovers. The Mavericks had more, they had less rebounds. Assists, 9 assists as a full team, 9 assists.
Yeah,
it's the only time you look at Doncic has had only 1 assist. 1 assist. Come on, that's not gonna do it. Kyrie Irving, he was awful, bro. He was stinking. He had only 12 points. I think in both games he was 13 for 37, because that's the start of talking about a lot. Both games Kyrie was so terrible. He had only 12 points. You see what they're doing with Luka. He had 30 in game 2. No, in game 1. I think even yesterday he had 27. They're allowing Luka to score. They're allowing him to score, but they try and shut down the alley-oops to Daniel Gafford, and which other big man do they use for this? Derrick Jones and PJ Washington, and Derrick Lively. So they allow Luka to do his thing, any lobes and stuff, all those plays. So that's what they did very well. And you look at it, they didn't really do anything on offense. Mavericks, there was no feeling that you felt that they could actually do something. And obviously, we kept it going with Al Horford making big threes after big threes. Obviously, Drew making the big plays. And then you came down
but Malcolm, you gotta come back to one thing also. All the other series that Luka has played, he has been able to pick up on somebody, post them up, take them in ISO like Gobert type of thing and shoot threes. This time, it doesn't matter who you put him on. Even yesterday, you look at their big men, Alford or Tillman, who was switching on him. They were literally switching everything, right? And they were holding their own, D. White is the less strong when you compare Luka's strength, but he was holding his own. So the ability for them not to double off of anybody allows Luka to get the tough ones, which takes up his legs in the process and doesn't help a team get better, right? So the only person that was actually getting going and giving passes was Kyrie, because Kyrie forces the rotation, because there is no one man who can guard him. Even he was cooking a little bit of Drew sometimes, he was cooking him, But the fact that the Celtics are not doubling off of anybody to help defend Luka is their success, right? And KP, Malcolm, I'm gonna put my hands up, I didn't know he can be such a rim protector. Bro.
KP is good, he's tall, man. You can't be 6'5" and you want to dunk on someone that's 7'3". It doesn't make sense, even if he's injured. He's going to block you. He's almost twice your height. So you can't dunk
just
on him.
Putting his hands up could alter all the shots. They would just go there and they would find weird angles, and I was like, yes, now I see his value.
Yeah, KP was massive for them. I mean, even his pull-up jumpers, they're all mismatches. You could just see that he doesn't really need to jump. The guy just gets turns and shoots, and he makes it. And this game, honestly, there was only one winner. When I watched it when I saw game one, I just knew Celtic. I actually knew Celtics was going to win, obviously, because I predicted the sweep, which looks like it will happen. But when I saw game one, I was like, KP is not going to be 100%. I was like, this guy can't even win without him. In fact, yesterday, I would say that yesterday was a better win than game one with him because of the way they played. And we shall dive into yesterday, but you look at game two, they didn't really get it going. Actually, Luka obviously still produced. Like Luka 32, 11, 11, a triple double. Okay, this is the word I wanted to use. How Luka's been this playoffs: 30, 27, 33. That means he's averaging 30 points per game. In the 3 games they played, he is being efficient, but he's not effective for the team. See, even when he got a triple double in game 2, he's not effective for the team. Like, he can even get 45 in game 4 and they will still lose. That's what he's just being efficient, but he's not being effective for the team. I don't know if it's his problem, but oh my god, Luka, we're going to dive into him yesterday because it wasn't really good, man, and we'll dive into it. But speaking of game 2, you saw Kyrie got 20 points, I think. He didn't shoot so well as well. He wasn't aggressive, and then everyone was like, maybe it's the noise, the chance of, the chance of in TD Garden. Maybe it's what got in his head. But look, it was like 1v5, man. It was like 1v5, especially because not only 2 players were not playing well, but not Jason Tatum wasn't playing well in game 1 and game 2, but all the others were helping him. Obviously, KP came off the bench, but wasn't so as efficient as game 1. But he still, made some big buckets, and then he got injured later on in the 4th quarter. But there was nothing really. I think this is the game where Celtics had was it a 21-point lead, and then these guys brought it back down to 8. Yeah, lost that. But even then, I knew it that it's all for nothing, man. I knew it because I was like, it's NBA, man. You just look one way, you turn back, 20-point lead is gone. So they were 21 points ahead by the end of the 3rd quarter. And then from nowhere else, 6 minutes left, they're already down 8, and then they call a timeout. I'm like, what? And I think that's the game that they played well. But when I saw that, I was like, I wasn't worried for one moment, just like yesterday. And we'll talk about yesterday as well. But the Celtics just have the experience. They switch everything on defense. On offense, it's like a mismatch. Like, whether it's full guarding them or what, they have one-on-one players. Like,
which is, I think, the advantage, because sometimes all you need is, can I have that little edge? Can I have one person on my team who cannot be guarded unless double teamed, so that now I force the other defense to rotate? Because then if they rotate, we can get open looks, we can get corner threes, because they have to cover up for everybody else who is rotating, and if you play smartly, you get to it. But game 2, I kind of felt like I should criticize Jason Kidd for his coaching style. Right, he is such a good coach that I thought he should have put Luka in the post, right, or just in the elbow, because I feel like Luka with the dribble live in the post, he's gonna get a basket every time, right? And if he doesn't get a basket, he will definitely get a pass somewhere in the corner, and the other guys will be able to fire 3, right? But what he did, they kept on going to the same thing at the top of the key. Now, when you're playing at the top of the key, the negative that comes with it is that all eyes are on you, right? Everybody on defense can kind of cheat off of their man just to look at your intense, your tendencies, and they're one step ahead of you. But when you're at the elbow, now they have to look at you, yet they don't see you because you're on the other side, right? You're not in front of them anymore. You are on the side, and now they have to worry about this side and the other side, because the moment they turn, right, somebody can just back out, and then you can just throw a pass or a lob, whatever that could be, right? So I felt like they should have been putting Luka, in the post and playing off of him. And when Kyrie Irving has the ball, I don't want Luka to be at the top of the key. I want him to be moving around, just like any other role players, because
that's the thing Luka does not do.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't want to be in the corners. He wants to be at the top of the key so that if any play is broken up, he gets the ball back. And I don't like that. If Kyrie has the ball, you know that he's under operator. What do? Create space for him. And maybe some actions, off-ball actions to confuse the defense a little bit, right? You look up for God's sake, right? Go do something, screen for somebody so that the other team leaves one guy open, because they're not going to leave you when you screen somebody. They'll probably wait for you to see whether you're secure before they follow the other person.
Celtics for what? Celtics for like 20 or 29% from three. Like, they had a terrible shooting night. Like, shot like 43s, but made only like. These guys will look back at this game, the Mavs, and they'll be like, okay, we lost game 2. That one, game 1, Celtics won, but game 2, Celtics won, but they'll feel like they lost it. Like, Celtics were just like, okay, we're not making buckets, but let's hang in there, because this team, they're not doing anything as well. Because they were not, like, come on. Now you see the opposite of what I said about Luka being efficient but not effective. Now, Jason Tatum, instead for him, he was effective. You know, he wasn't that efficient. He didn't have, the 30 point, the face of the league, 40 points, that everyone expects him to have. He had only 18 points. He had 12 rebounds and 9 assists. So he's facilitating the team everywhere. Jaylen Brown, I think, is taking over the primary scoring role. But Jason Tatum is being effective. He didn't have a good shooting night, but he's being effective. You can see him facilitate the movement of the ball, more one-on-one, and, giving the hot hand. Like, that's the problem that now with Luka and Kyrie. Luka does not want to give Kyrie the ball even when Kyrie is hot, especially yesterday. Look at that, he denies Kyrie the ball. I don't know why. Like, yes, you're the franchise leader of the team, but man, you're not playing well. Like, Luka is averaging like 2.6 points in fourth quarters. Throughout the series, he's only averaged like 3, 1, 0. Like, that guy is like, he's not doing anything in the fourth quarter. And yet Kyrie is actually the one who was cooking, especially last game. Because obviously the first 2 games he wasn't playing so well. But you look at this Celtics, the Mavs, they give them the game. They give them, especially because Celtics didn't play so well. I hope for down 95 points. Derek White had 18, which means that there's something that's not going well. And we actually thought they would fix it come the second game. Was it this game that Joe Holiday had 26? Yeah, it was the second game. Yeah, Joe Holiday came up big, 26 points and 11 rebounds. So I think when he had 9 for 9 in the post, like in the paint, I think that was this game. It was the second game. Man, there was that play I remember when it was late in the fourth quarter when Luka made a turnover when Derek White caught the ball from like turnover.
Yeah, so technically Drew Holiday trapped
all came back on position. Drew Holiday passed it to Al Horford. Al Horford gave it back and he made a big time 3. Yeah, there was that play. I remember it. He made a big 3. I think that one was like the dagger. And then again, I don't remember clearly, especially because it was game 2. But there were like 2 plays that happened negatively where Drew Holiday and Derek White connected. And then those players just, removed, like, they dugged it again. Yesterday, the bench was actually the one that came up big. And yeah, we'll dive into yesterday's game. What do you think of yesterday's game?
Oh, man. So yesterday's game, first of all, I actually thought it is happening on Friday. I was sick. So I was like, yes, I'm going to work. And then all of a sudden, you're like, it's a game, bro. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you lying? No, bro. I just checked the schedule in like a few minutes. But yeah, I didn't watch much of it, but I'll tell you from what I watched. Yeah, I watched the thing from the last 2 quarters. I watched all of them, but I didn't watch the first 2. But I don't think that I missed that much of things in the first 2 quarters. But I have 3 things. Yeah, the first thing is Jason Tatum. Yeah. Loads of credit to Joe Mazzulla because he knows how to use his player, right? He coaches more like a high school coach. Yeah, he has that high school coaching type of thing where he knows they're grown-ups in the game, but I still don't trust you. I still know you're human. in action with adrenaline running through your body. So I'm gonna point out stuff as you play because you're still human. So Joe
I
Mazzulla,
mean,
credit to him. I think he is, man,
yeah, especially
incredible.
because he's a young coach. Like, even in his own team, he's like not the oldest in the team. Even
Yeah,
Al Horford is older than him. He's just 35 years, youngest coach in the NBA. He's like, oh man, he's young, and like the fact that they listen to him and he creates these good matchups. Like, Celtics can put anyone on Luka. He can put Derek White. He can put
because he's young
Jalen
and
Brown.
wise.
It will
Yeah,
still be
the
a problem
wise
for him.
part, being wise is what helps him and them listening to them, right? To him, I mean. But what Joe Mazzulla did was he used Tatum as a decoy every time. He will run him through like some stupid actions, like just a little ghost screen or like a
Yeah,
screen and then goes to the post, and now like the big man has to be worried about him, and then JB on the other side where the big man should be helping is where he is, doing his
yeah,
thing. And now Luka is trapped on his own because the big man is also worried about his skip pass to Jason Tatum, who is posting a smaller player, right? So the mind game of using Jason Tatum not just as a scorer, but rather as a decoy every time, just like the Warriors use Steph with his running. I thought it's the greatest thing that could ever happen to Boston. The other thing is
yeah.
Drew Holiday. Yeah. Drew Holiday is like literally being guarded by the worst defender of the Mavs sometimes. And people forget he was like this before he came to Celtics. The season before, he was averaging like literally 26 a whole
Yeah.
season, if not 27, right?
When I backstood him, I think even Embiid sent out a tweet that Milwaukee just gave Boston the NBA just like that.
Like, it's
so
crazy.
Holiday,
People forget that he was the first option when Giannis was hot, and that's still in him. People just forget, right? And what he did last game is he showed you that he can score without anybody helping him. Right? Every time the other guys will be preoccupied and worried, and they're just like, okay, go to the worst defender. He will just beat them off the dribble. He will just go to them, just the little things. And he will play like it just, his poise and experience just shows every moment. The moment you feel like it's gone, he comes back, right back up. The third thing I want to say, Luka's defense is pathetic. It is absolutely
was awful yesterday.
I don't know the word to use.
It was ludicrous.
Bro.
It was ridiculous and ludicrous.
I am
sad.
so mad.
Come on, that player yesterday when he fell down and when he took a step back on Al Horford, and then he was on the ground looking at the referee, and then this guy Celtics going, they get a 3 from somehow. That was terrible, man. Like,
look, man, I get it.
Man,
I get it. Bro. You deserve some calls as the best player from the Western the Western Conference Finals. You deserve some calls, yeah. But can you play some goddamn defense for Jesus Christ's sake? Like, literally, play defense, Luka. It doesn't require. It's not rocket science. Just move your feet. Like it's defense. It's not.
And you know what's cause he's like that. He's tall. He's like 6'8". He's tall, and he doesn't want to play defense. He can't afford to block. Like, come on, he's letting his own team down. And even, you know what Steven said after the game, that the only thing Luka is doing is looking at the refs and quarreling at them. And that's why he even got the 6 fouls. Like, come on, you made a blocking foul and you're still quarreling.
For sure, because, and what makes me feel bad is that some people be like, he is carrying the offense load. And I'm like, so is I carry Ivan. But he was struggling on Jason Tatum. Jason is pushing him, but he's hanging in there, trying to strip, trying to jump. When
he was so, he was so bad that they even released a statistic yesterday that there's no player who has ever been like passed by, like beaten than Luka. Like, there's no player in the NBA who has ever been blown by a lot of times than Luka. Like, he was so bad defensively. He was getting silly fouls. Like, I was watching some analysis this study, how he was dropping around some Peyton Pritchard. Just some silly fouls, man. Silly fouls. Like, come on, bro. And now, let's talk about this game game three. Obviously, game two, the game plan of Jason Kidd, he got it also wrong. And now when you look at game three, they came out with the blistering start. I think Jason Kidd actually, he even used the whole rotation. Everyone who traveled on the plane, all the 11 players played that game. But you look at Maxi Kleber, 0 points. Jaden Hardy, 0 points. Tim Hardaway Jr., 0 points. No, Tim Hardaway had 0 points across everything. 0 fouls, 0 points, 0 assists, only 3 rebounds. The guy was 0 for everything, man. He didn't even get a foul. Like, come on. And you're using this players, you're giving them big minutes, you're giving some 8 minutes, you're giving some 4 minutes, you're giving some 3 minutes. And you know, what's interesting is that Kyrie legitimately came and gave 35 points. Luka gave 27. But when I looked at the way they played the first quarter and second quarter, and I saw Celtics is down 1, that was the first point of tragedy. You just feel that with the way they played, they need to be up like 15 or something. Because they played so well the first quarter, they came out with a blistering start. But the way Celtics played them is like, it just reminds me of how they played the Pacers. Like, hang in there, we are the better team, hang in there. You know,
just be there.
They come with a punch because they're down 2-0. They come with a lot of energy, you know.
Like, just be there, hanging in the punch once.
Playing when they were down 2-0. But I was even the Pacers, like, they came game 3, game 4, they were down. They came up, like, first 2 minutes of the game, they're up 7, they're up 8. But at the end of the first half, Celtics is only down 2. It's like, I'm like, what? After all that, I want you now, third quarter, they go. This horribly wrong. Like, 35-19, that's 16 points. It was a barrage of buckets, man. It was just buckets, right?
Yeah.
Buckets, man. Bucket. Running plays, bucket. I was just like, it's over. Mavericks. I think they're up 21. No, they're up 15 by the time it was fourth quarter. And I was like, it's game. And then give the Mavs credit. They came back. They actually, no, fourth quarter, it was a 15-point lead. Celtics had 15 more points. And then they get 2 quick threes in 1 minute, 2 quick threes, and then the guy calls a timeout. The Celtics went up 21. In like 1 minute, the Celtics were already up 21 with 2 quick threes. Like, the guy just called a timeout. And then they came back, obviously, with a 22-2 run. Like, I was like, what the hell is Celtics up to? Like, come on, 22? That was 20 points all of a sudden. Like, 7 minutes or left, and when the score is already down to like single digits, like 9 points. I was like, what? Then I was like, okay, maybe this makes things interesting. But then look at now, instead of him being the big time player, you know, making silly fouls, you know,
literally the moment
again carried the ball.
The moment he fell down when he was guarding Jaylen Brown and he fouled out, I was like, okay,
the blocking,
that's it.
I mean, yeah, because they were down and then needed Luka, but he's not out of the game. You cannot risk that when you're 5 fouls and you know it's transition.
And also he forgets that he's 6'8", 6'9", bro. Almost.
He's tall.
He's almost a big man, bro. Like, they need your length.
A big man.
Look at the person who is going to come in for you. They put in Tim Hardaway, and I'm like, oh my god. Luka was a liability over here on defense. And then you bring in Tim Hardaway, he gives up size already. And I know he can shoot, but he hasn't been in rhythm for the rest of the series. Also. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Luka, do better.
Luka didn't play well yesterday, man. He needs to be better for his team.
No,
now, man, as I say, game 4 is on Friday and it looks inevitable. My broomsticks already came out. And the Celtics are going to hang their banner. Just said I'm not in Boston because I would have gone for the parade, you know. But I think it's ending a clean sweep. What do you think? We still have hope.
This is my prediction for that part, because as much as I love the Celtics and they have proven me wrong about them being careless with the ball, especially with the help of Daily Quiet and Drew Holiday. They feel like they're the calming power. They're the constant in this series. That you don't, like, you know what you're getting every time. You know what's coming to you. but I feel like Luka
Um,
and Kyrie takes lots of pride in their ability to not get embarrassed. So does Jason Kidd, and
Wait and see.
at least
That's what you are saying about the Pacers. What happened? That's what you're saying
the
about the
Pacers and
Indiana
the
Pacers.
Pacers are different because
That's because
Luka Luka and Jason Kidd have actually won chips. So I mean, Jason Kidd and Kyrie have won championships. So they can pull off something. Who knows, right? But it's still gonna come at the expense of something. Um, I feel like they don't want to go down as a swept team. I
but
feel
maybe the
like
Celtics, man.
they want to keep that.
Maybe that's why. That's the only reason. Maybe they may win
But
that
they
Friday.
might
If we
win
lose, what we lost
one.
within
But
this
even
one
if they win
in the
one,
NBA
when they
final.
go back to TD Garden, it's gonna be done. Right? It,
It's over.
it's just gonna be
Even
like
this winning,
win the
I don't think.
game 4
You know,
because you don't want
it's
to get swept, and then game 5 they'll close the deal.
yeah. No team in the NBA, let alone playoffs. Like since NBA began, no team in the NBA has come down from 3-0, and only Celtics came down last year in the conference finals from down 3-0 just to 3-3 to a game 7, which they lost.
Yeah.
And let alone 3-1, only 4 teams when it's a 3-1 lead have come back to win the series. Obviously, the Cavs with Warriors 2016 with the whole LeBron when they came down 3-1 to win, obviously, game 7. And only three other teams after the Cavs. Only even 3-1 let alone is hard. So what about 3-0? So it's inevitable, man. Like, just to go back on the plays, that there was a play, I think, when Drew Holiday got PJ Washington made an illegal swing on Drew Holiday. And then a couple of minutes later, he got the ball and then he kicked it out to Derrick White and then he made the big 3. When the momentum was in the Mavs, and then they made those 2 plays, I was like, okay. Then I was like, okay, nice. Now we're talking. And when I see how they play, man, they're swiftly. It's inevitable. For me, I predicted it before. You can testify that they're going to. And if I watch Mavericks, like my analysis, it was easy. Even Thunder could have done better now. Like even Thunder, even Pelicans.
So I think
you're taking it. Mavs
I
were too
would
easy.
not I would not take away
Even I
credits
told
from
you.
the Mavs.
I told you.
No, I would not take away credits from the Mavs. Yeah,
I told you.
What I would
the
say,
Celtics get Timberwolves, they will win in 6. If they get the Mavs, they will sweep them. I told you that.
no,
Mavs should not beat them.
if it was the
Because
Timberwolves, we would have
only
been
Timberwolves
talking
can
about
have-
a different series here. But I will not take
What?
away the credits of the Mavs because their personnel allowed them to win the rest of those series. Yeah, the Thunder. But with Celtics just has a better personnel to match up their team. They are the better team right now. But I will
They're
not
the better team.
give up.
Yeah, the better team.
I think the Mavs are great, and they could have. They beat those other that deserving whatever the win they had. But Celtics just has a better, a better plan around the winning
And
part.
obviously, people who like critics or like haters, for example, people like you will say that Celtics have had an easier path. Let's face it, they have, obviously, because East is way easier than the West. Round 1 they played was it Cavs?
No.
No, it was not Cavs because number 1 plays number 8. Miami. They played Miami. There was no Jimmy Butler. There was no Terry Rozier. There was no this other guy in Miami, Tyler Hero. Round 2 they played the Cavs. There was no Donovan Mitchell for 2 games. The last 2 games there was no Jarrett Allen. They'll argue that. And then round 3, obviously the Pacers or the conference finals. There was Tyrese Haliburton obviously got injured in the final 2 games as well. Like they don't know Mitchell. You can argue that, but even the Celtics have not had KP for the whole time. So even them, they can also say we have not had KP and we've still dominated. We are 15-2, 16 on Friday, but we didn't have KP. We've only had KP for 2 games, technically 1 full game. So I mean, it could have been a solid 15-0 by now if they had KP. So obviously it was an easier path. But now that they're going to win, they're going to sweep them. They're going to end 16-2 when KP has only played 1 game. So imagine they had them. So you know, Celtics, man, it just looks like this was their year. And I even told you like way earlier on that if Celtics don't win this NBA, they have failed. They have failed because Brad Stevens is the real MVP because the way he's organized, the pieces, man, like the bench.
I actually disagree with you. I don't think they had an easy path. I think everybody who goes to the finals doesn't get through. An NBA playoff game is not easy. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care who you are. It is not easy with a B on.
No. But the East is easier than the West. But the East is easier than the West, right? The East is easier than the West.
You could make that case, yeah. But at the end of the day, the finals, if you win the finals, you have played the West. So technically, it's not easy. You could say that
you're like better.
Like to win it all, you need some luck. Of course, you need some other team to, get some injuries and everything. But it's not easy, man. It's not the easy path. It's just the better team, right? Like you could see it from the beginning. They just a better team. The other teams are just that bad compared to them. Not that the other teams are easier or they're but no, it's compared to the Celtics. Yeah. So credit to them. The other thing I want to say is, if I had the chance, to hang out with anybody this off season, just to hang out and see what they do, I would choose Derek White and Jrue Holiday. I don't want anybody else. So technically, if you told me, here's a ticket, go hang out with anybody, I'm going to say I want to hang out with Jrue Holiday and Derek White and see what they do during their off season and whatever their regimen is. That's it. So that there tells you why the Boston Celtics is the better team, just because of those two.
Yeah, they are the better team. So who do you think will be the finals MVP?
Oh my God, that's a tough question, bro, because JB is showing flashes. JT
JB has played well for 2 games. Yesterday and game. No, JB has played well all the games actually.
Yeah, but can I tell you who has been efficient and been like the guy who actually does
Jrue Holiday?
Consistently?
Derek White.
Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday has been.
He's massive. Been like the whole series. He's been averaging 19 points, which has not been averaging, I think, for the rest of the season, right? So technically, he is your most valuable player when
but I'll give it to Jaylen Brown
for value. But I would take this to another note. You might have business decisions factoring in. Which might put JB or JT on the ladder to being the finals.
Yeah, obviously, for the franchise and all that.
If
they may most likely give Jaylen Brown.
The Mavs, if they hold off one of the two, and Jrue Holiday goes off for 26 again, we are talking about a different story again.
Yeah, because there will be 2 games again that Holiday has performed very well. But we'll see. But for now, it looks like, I would say, like the favorite is Jaylen Brown. He's been big time. Without him, they wouldn't be where they are right now, let alone like what they were like.
And also, the other thing, Malcolm, is we all gonna talk about JB because he is shining, right? But we need to think of why is he shining. I think that's the part that people leave out, which kind of takes away the credits that JT should be getting, because JT's
been their team,
right? Which gives JB all the time in the world to work and do his thing.
Yeah, because JT's been double team, if I'm not mistaken. So yesterday to Jaylen Brown, who is big time now. So that's why he's getting a couple of buckets and being big time for them.